Some objects don't arrive in a home by accident. They arrive because something wants to be let in. If you enjoy real horror stories like this, subscribe now, because this one doesn't end where you expect. The family never believed in cursed objects. They were ordinary people living in a quiet neighborhood, the kind of place where nights were silent and doors were rarely locked. The doll arrived as a gift, wrapped in soft paper, sitting in a box that smelled faintly of old fabric and dust. It looked harmless, stitched smile, glassy eyes, worn clothes that suggested age rather than danger. They placed it on a chair in the daughter's bedroom and forgot about it. The first night, nothing happened. The second night, the mother noticed the doll was no longer sitting on the chair. It was standing near the window. She assumed the child had moved it. Children play, dolls move. That's what dolls are for. But the child denied touching it. Over the following days, the doll never stayed in the same place. It appeared on the couch, then on the kitchen counter, then at the top of the stairs, always facing inward, always watching the center of the house. No one saw it move, no sound, no footsteps, just a new position every time someone turned away. The family began locking the doll inside a closet at night. That's when the noises started. At exactly 3 in the morning, faint sounds echoed through the hallway. Soft thuds, fabric brushing against wood, a slow dragging noise as if something small and heavy was being pulled across the floor. When the father opened the closet one night, the doll was sitting outside it, perfectly upright, the door still locked from the outside. They checked the locks, they checked the cameras. Nothing explained it. The daughter started waking up, screaming. She said the doll whispered her name, not loudly, not angrily, just enough to wake her. When the parents checked the room, the doll was always closer to the bed than before. Then the behavior changed. The doll began doing things dolls cannot do. Kitchen cabinets were opened in the morning, chairs were moved. Family photos were found turned face down. One night, the father felt weight on his chest as he slept. He couldn't move, couldn't breathe. When he finally gasped awake, the doll was sitting on the edge of the bed, its stitched smile inches from his face. They tried to throw it away. The next day, it was back in the house. They burned it in the backyard. The fabric blackened, the stuffing melted. They left the remains outside. That night, the doll appeared again, untouched, clean, sitting in the daughter's room as if nothing had happened. From that moment on, the house felt wrong. The air grew heavy. Electronics malfunctioned. The temperature dropped suddenly in occupied rooms. Scratches appeared on the walls, thin and deliberate, always near doorways. The mother began to feel watched even when she was alone. Mirrors reflected movement that didn't exist. Then came the worst night. The family woke to screaming. The daughter's bedroom door was locked from the inside. When they forced it open, the room was destroyed. Furniture overturned, deep marks gouged into the walls. The doll was hanging from the ceiling fan, slowly spinning, its glass eyes reflecting the light like they were alive. The daughter survived, barely. Doctors couldn't explain her injuries. Deep bruises, pressure marks, trauma without a clear cause. She refused to speak for weeks, except to say one sentence over and over. "It walks when you don't look." Terrified, the family sought help. A specialist in paranormal artifacts examined the doll and confirmed their fear. The object wasn't haunted. It was occupied. Something had attached itself to the doll, using it as a door. As long as the doll remained in the home, whatever was inside would stay fed. The only solution was to remove it permanently. The doll was sealed inside a reinforced container, layered with protective symbols, and taken far away. The family never saw it again, but the house never returned to normal. Even years later, they hear footsteps at night, doors open on their own, and sometimes, when the house is silent, they swear they hear fabric brushing against wood. Because some things don't need to follow you to stay with you. And if a harmless object in your home ever moves on its own, never assume it's nothing. Stay alert. This could happen to you. They were known as the happiest family on the street. Every evening, lights glowed warmly from their windows, laughter spilled into the yard. Neighbors often said that if happiness had an address, it lived right there. No one imagined that house would soon become a place people crossed the street to avoid. It all began with a walk home. The youngest son, Ethan, was walking back from a nearby convenience store on a quiet American road. Cars passed occasionally. The sun was dipping low, turning the sky orange. As he passed an old dumpster near an alley, something made him stop. A doll. It sat beside the trash bin, upright, untouched by dirt or rain. Its porcelain face was pale, its eyes glassy and wide. The smile painted on its lips looked gentle, almost caring. It didn't look broken. It didn't look discarded. It looked like it was waiting. Ethan picked it up. When he brought it home, his parents hesitated. His mother frowned, asking why someone would throw away such a beautiful doll. His father suggested throwing it out immediately. But Ethan begged. He said the doll felt lonely. He said it didn't belong in the trash. Against their better judgment, they let him keep it. That night, the doll was placed on a chair in Ethan's bedroom. The first sign came after midnight. The mother woke up feeling watched. The house was silent, yet the silence felt wrong, too thick, too heavy. She walked down the hallway to check on Ethan. The doll was no longer on the chair. It sat on the floor, closer to Ethan's bed, facing him. She told herself Ethan must have moved it in his sleep. By morning, things grew stranger. The dog refused to enter the house. The kitchen clock had stopped at exactly 3:17 a.m. And when Ethan was asked about the doll, he said something that made his parents laugh nervously. "It walks when you're asleep." That laugh didn't last long. The doll began to move every night. Sometimes it appeared in the hallway, sometimes at the dining table. Once it was found sitting at the foot of the parents' bed. No one ever saw it move, it simply changed places. Then came the whispers. The father heard murmurs coming from the living room late at night. The mother felt cold breaths on her neck while washing dishes alone. Ethan started talking to the doll, answering questions no one else could hear. He said the doll had many names. It said it had lived with other families before. The first death happened on a stormy night. The grandfather who lived with them was found in the basement. His body was twisted unnaturally, eyes wide open in terror. Bruises circled his wrists and neck, small, childlike marks. The doll sat on a box nearby, staring at him. Police ruled it an accident. The family knew better. They tried to destroy the doll. They burned it. It didn't burn. They broke it. It didn't crack. They buried it. It returned. Each time, it came back cleaner than before. That's when the deaths accelerated. The mother vanished one night, leaving behind a trail of muddy footprints leading to Ethan's room. The father was found days later in the bathtub, drowned in an empty tub, mouth open as if screaming. Only Ethan remained. Neighbors reported seeing the child standing at the window every night, holding the doll, smiling at passing cars. Then, one morning, the house was empty. No bodies, no blood, no family. Inside the living room, the doll sat meekly on the couch. Weeks later, on a different street, another child found a doll beside a trash bin, clean, perfect, smiling. And the cycle began again.